financial centers of the world.
By the end of the 1600s, England was in financial ruin. 50 years of more or less continuous wars with France and Holland had exhausted her.
Frantic government officials met with the money changers to beg for the loans necessary to pursue their political purposes. The price was high. A government-sanctioned, privately owned bank which could issue money created out of nothing. It was to be the modern world's first privately owned central bank, the Bank of England. Although it was deceptively called the Bank of England to make the general population think it was part of the government, it was not. Like any other private corporation, the Bank of England sold shares to get started. The investors, whose names were never revealed, were supposed to put up £1.25 million British pounds in gold coin to buy their shares in the bank. The bank was duly chartered in 1694 and started out in the business of loaning out several times the money it supposedly had in reserves, all at interest.
In exchange, the new bank would loan British politicians as much of the new currency as they wanted, as long as they secured the debt by direct taxation of the British people.
So, legalization of the Bank of England amounted to nothing less than legal counterfeiting of a national currency for private gain. Unfortunately, nearly every nation now has a privately controlled central bank using the Bank of England as the basic model. Such is the power of these central banks that they soon take total control over a nation's economy. It soon amounts to nothing but a plutocracy ruled by the rich. The central bank scam is really a hidden tax. The nation sells bonds to the central bank to pay for things it does not have the political will to raise taxes to pay for. But the bonds are purchased with money the central bank creates out of nothing. More money in circulation makes your money worth less. The government gets as much money as it needs, and the people pay for it in inflation. The beauty of the plan is that not one person in 1,000 can figure it out because it's usually hidden behind complex-sounding economics gibberish.
In 1790, less than 3 years after the Constitution had been signed, the money changers struck again. The newly appointed first Secretary of the Treasury, Alexander Hamilton, proposed a bill to the Congress calling for a new, privately owned central bank. Coincidentally, that was the very year that Amschel Rothschild made his pronouncement from his flagship bank in Frankfurt.
Let me issue and control a nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws.
After a year of intense debate, in 1791, Congress passed the bill and gave it a 20-year charter. The new bank was to be called the First Bank of the United States, or BUS. The bank was given a monopoly on printing U.S. currency, even though 80% of its stock would be held by private investors. The other 20% would be purchased by the U.S. government.
Like the Bank of England, the name of the Bank of the United States was deliberately chosen to hide the fact that it was privately controlled. And like the Bank of England, the names of the investors in the bank were never revealed. Many years later, it was a common saying that the Rothschilds were the power behind the old Bank of the United States. Here in Paris, the Bank of France was organized in 1800, just like the Bank of England. But Napoleon decided France had to break free of debt, and he never trusted the Bank of France. He declared that when a government is dependent upon bankers for money, the bankers, not the leaders of the government, are in control.
Because all this information has been well researched and is factual. And the interesting thing is that even though these people are being exposed, these are supposed to be the very people that the left despise. and they want to do away with if they ever took power. And yet when they're presented with the facts and the figures, they deny they exist. Another interesting thing you should ask, and people need to ask, is what did socialism ever contribute to benefit mankind? Absolutely nothing. Now, I seen you mentioning there the Holocaust. Now, you're a typical asshole. We're discussing the banking system. We're not talking about the Holocaust. But what about Stalin's 60 plus million that he killed in Russia? Okay, answer that question there now. You answer that question there now. You justify to me and to the viewers and to the people that are posting their comments on that. Or are you going to deny that? Are you going to deny the fact that he killed over 60 million of his own people? Well, answer that. And then you refer to us like David Icke and that Zionist Alex Jones. Like, where are you at? Like, you're talking through your arse. You're typical of a left-winger. You all talk through your arse. So you justify exactly why it was necessary for Stalin to kill over 60 million of his own people. You're talking about Hitler, and you're talking about the Second World War. They weren't all his own people, but Stalin killed his own people. Not in another war. He killed over 60 million of his own people. Now you justify or you explain that. Don't start bringing the Holocaust up in this. It's you left-wingers that need to start explaining the genocide of their own people in Russia. Explain that to us, and let's see if you can justify it and give us a good reason why that was the case, why he killed over 60 million of his own people, and why we've seen it in the Cultural Revolution in China, and likewise in North Korea, and likewise in Vietnam. Explain all that to us. Tell us all about those holocausts. Explain to us the hundreds of dictatorships. So don't come along to us with your shit about the Holocaust. We had our own Holocaust here in Ireland, which is called the famine. Let's talk about that, shall we? But you think by bringing up the Holocaust that somehow you're going to make us look like, oh yeah, well they don't believe this and they don't believe that and all the rest of them, blah, 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 and all your bullshit. Will you go and explain to me why there was over 60 million Russians killed at the hands of Stalin and over 100 million around the world, and Pol Pot and all the rest of it? Explain to us about them. Tell us about them, what they, let's see you justify the slaughter of over 100 million people. So you shut up about the Holocaust. Explain your own so-called Holocausts. And the thing is, you failed everywhere. You are failures. Total and absolute failures. Hundreds of thousands of Cubans fucking trying to get out of Cuba every single day, and this is supposed to be your proletariat utopia. The same in China, same in North Korea. They're utopias, are they? You fucking bunch of assholes and hypocrites. You are unbelievable hypocrites. So let's start here and let's see you justify now. Come on, justify the Nazis got their ass kicked. You are communists, and you are nothing but failures. And you can look at Sinn Féin and Higgins and the Socialist Workers' Party and all the rest of it. You're having a fucking unique idea amongst the whole lot of you. You're still just going to go along with the same banking system, part of globalism, part of internationalism. And look at even China has bought in, and the country's the name, the Communist Republic of China. People, don't ring me. I don't accept phone calls during the broadcast. If you want to contact me, Nazi, 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 Nazi. There you are. That's what I said. Regurgitating the shite you hear in university or in your local school or amongst your little group of little sheeple that you get together on your socialist fucking revolution and we'll do this and we'll do that. And yet if you look around the whole of the world, communism has been slaughtered millions upon millions of their own people, destroyed the countries. So you have nothing to be bragging or saying anything about the fucking Holocaust. Tell us about the Holocaust of 60 million white Russians. Absolutely, your whole ideology is totally redundant. Communism has contributed absolutely nothing to the world, only misery, death and pain. And this is the type of ideology that you want to force on the Irish people. You want your socialist republic. You want the hammer and the sickle over the Dáil. You want people to stand by and allow the likes of you take power in this country? I don't think so. I don't think so. He's contributed absolutely nothing worthwhile. The human was destroy humanity. Is there an absolute joke, a major failure? Some of the worst dictatorships in the world are communist dictatorships. And yes, you try and repackage it and make it look all nice and the country and trying to make out you care about the people. But no doubt if you did get into power, we'd be under an immediate communist dictatorship, no better than anywhere else in the world. So the only people you're fooling are yourselves. And if we ever do take power, you'll be the first to be crushed, let me tell you, and you'll be the first to be hanging from the gallows. Let me tell you that too. Okay, where are we at? We're 24, 25. We usually have a ad at 20 past. Maybe that's what knocked it off. Yeah.